that mean person that asks you to move yourself a little bit. So if you would be so kind, especially people super far away, let's do a little bit of exercise. I imagine you did a little bit, had a lunch or something like that. Please come forward. It looks really not nice here when we have 0 people in the front line. Please come closer. Let's feel more of togetherness. And later you'll see why. Because one of the things I want to tell you today is how to make it in esports and how to be that person, maybe next person on this stage, or getting a job in this desired industry. So once we have our shuffle done, and thank you guys, you're like potentially the bravest people here now. So first question I just want to ask, like really double check, does everyone speak English here? Because if you don't speak English, it's going to be really hard to understand. So people who do speak English, please stand up. If you're not standing by now, you probably should leave. But, well, for all, wait a second, wait. I have the tyrant thing in myself. I really like to feel the power. So for the people who are standing, please stay standing, the people who know what esports is. OK, cool. That's pretty awesome. And the next task, all people who think that, or think positively about esports and like it. Wow. OK, so now the last thing, please keep standing the people who would love to work in esports. Wow. OK, cool. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, so this is me, Karina. I'm head of communications at G2 Esports right now. And I want just to go through my career very briefly to explain how I ended up here. So I graduated from Vilnius University in journalism back in, oh my God, 2006, I think. No, 2010. OK, that's way too long ago, and I don't want to reveal my age. I was working in 15 Minutes, the news portal in Lithuania. You probably, if you are Lithuanian, have read it at least once or twice. Then I was working remotely, and not only remotely, for a Clinic 212. It's a marketing agency here in Lithuania. And then I got a master's degree for international media studies in Germany, in Bonn. So why did I leave to Germany? Back in the day, I was a very ambitious 23-year-old girl, and I was feeling that I got it all. I could either go on TV, which I didn't feel comfortable with. So now I'm standing here and saying this, like it's really ridiculous, but well, here we go. And I just wanted a challenge. I previously planned to move to Italy, but stars didn't want it. And my parents moved to Germany before I did. And I was like, well, that's a pretty safe choice. If it doesn't work out, I can just go back to my editor and beg to take me back to work. So I left to Germany, studied German very fast, very hard. My German back in the day was terrible. But I managed to get the place for master's studies. And esports happened somewhere in between because my parents were living in Cologne, so I had to commute to Bonn for the studies. But Cologne was back then the place where ESL was found, and they had the studios at MTG Studios in Cologne. They were running the LCS production, the League of Legends series, back in the day when Fnatic had Yellow Star and those guys, if you ever heard of them. So I ended up absolutely accidentally going into international meetup, meet some people who were involved or working at the ESL. And then there was one place, like a bar, where people would go and mingle after the event or the show day was wrapped, including all professional players. It was such a get-together. And I felt so bad because I had absolutely no clue what Sivir Ultimate is and, like, you know, how those things work. And I was sitting there not understanding. And I decided, like, actually, this is pretty cool. I want to know about it. And then I went to the studio. I downloaded League of Legends. That was my first game from esports titles. And then, well, I started, sorry, that was supposed to be here before. I'm not so great at multitasking. Well, normally I am, but here, yeah, sure. So, yeah, League of Legends, the first game. So something I was speaking about, where to start your esports journey. That's why I mentioned ESL in the background. So basically what happened to me, I was in the right place in the right time, and then got curious and got involved, which turned into myself realizing the scope of the industry. That was insane. There was like tens of thousands of people watching the game, and that was just one game in a pond, lake, ocean of other games. And I was like, wow. And I'm a journalist. Like, I never even heard of it. And I was like, that's a little bit of wrong. And I was like, I would like to tell those stories about people. So I ended up writing my master thesis in the end about esports. And then, after I defended it, I actually ended up working 2 weeks after. Well, thanks. Next time, take holiday, Karina. At Freaks for You Gaming, a Berlin-based marketing and gaming agency. And here you can see some of the images I started to be basically an interviewer for various publications because we were selling content. Below you see Hastro, he's the owner of Team Envious. Above you see Fallen from SK Gaming. I have another 50 pictures like this, but I didn't want to bore you with those. And yeah, so like to take selfies. Because you never know which interview is going to be last, and so I was like, really want to document them all, but well. And yeah, so here is just, I don't want to go too deep into this, but I wrote that basically in Germany and in France, I would say in Europe, there are the best options for people who are seeking for jobs and the best places to look. US is amazing if you're a native speaker. Otherwise, in Germany, the main cities are Berlin and Cologne. In Berlin, we have such developers as Epic Games, Riot Games. Freaks for You Gaming is a big agency. A lot of people pick it as their startup. And then we have, of course, ESL in Cologne. ESL also have headquarters in London. But again, there you need native level English. And Paris is great because they have Ubisoft and Blizzard and Versailles. And yeah, and Ubisoft are working with Rainbow Six. Blizzard is working with Overwatch, Hearthstone, other games. So one thing, why saying I want to work in esports is actually wrong. And it's something that people shouldn't say it like this, and I'm going to explain why. Because because we have a big organization. G2 Esports has 12 professional teams with over 50 players. Probably some of you follow or at least have heard about one or the other team. And people, of course, would like to work there, but saying I want to work in esports is wrong for one reason, because it doesn't say anything about who you are or what you're offering. If you say, I want to be esports videographer, I want to be esports photographer, I want to be a content producer, I want to be streamer, I want to be pro player, that shows that you have ambition and you would like to go into that particular direction, because you don't say, I want to work in Olympics, or like, I want to be in Olympics. It depends if you are the professional athlete or trainer or medical, I don't know, doctor, or you're just bringing towels, or maybe you're cleaning in the field, or you're building the stage. So it's, first thing is always about yourself. You have to decide what you would like to pursue. So I'm gonna tell you all, especially for the guys still in school and in the university, do mistakes, make mistakes, try different things, because there is no one way. A lot of great people decide that, you know, actually, I don't want to be a, I don't know, mechanic or a doctor, and I want to be a singer, and maybe they have a talent. However, the most important thing is actually to be good at it. And this is the key to everything, and I think this is the key for young guys or young girls who tell to parents, hey, mom, I want to be a pro gamer, because you have in the time you have away from school or your studies, you have to dedicate that time to get better. And you have to get better to an extent where it's actually a viable option. Like a football, I don't know, I like football examples. So you don't buy a football ball and say, okay, see ya everyone, I'm going to be a football player. You first try it out if you actually can do it. So with the games it's the same. Like everything with like silly amounts or like unhealthy amounts is wrong. Even doing math for 48 hours straight is not healthy, you know? So with the games it's the same. I'm really not a big fan of stereotypes, but it's important for yourself to understand what you're actually good at. So in my case, I was basically good in journalism or good in telling stories. So this is what I stuck with, and this is what I like. So speaking about where to dive in, content is the currency of today because all teams sell or barter partnerships. Sponsors bring in the money. They pay money for visibility in content. Everything is content. Social media is content, videos, photos, everything. So who do we need? For example, just from our own experience, because I'm searching for people, and I mean, it's super easy to work at G2 Esports if you have, like, if you're good in one of the listed things, hit me up or check out the job descriptions on our website. So social media, multimedia videographers, video producers, project managers, this all exists in this industry as well. I mean, it's, in the end, we even look like a media production company of sorts, because next to having all the professional players, we also have like bunch of people who are creating things about them, because you only love the team if they have a story. You only will watch some sort of rivalry if there's history behind it. There could be two amazing world's best teams, and you wouldn't be interested if there's no history, if all the players are potatoes and no one has a charisma of a, I don't know, wooden chopping block. So you want to watch people who have stories. And creating them, in my opinion, is such a beautiful thing. So, what do esports need? And this is not a checklist, and options may vary. I would say that the most important thing, and this is why I asked you to move a little bit and to walk a little bit, is because proactive attitude is extremely important, because you have to be willing to go a little bit further. You have to be willing to move. You have to be willing potentially to sacrifice something or work like longer evening or all week, but you come somewhere only with the amount of effort you put. So that, and then of course creativity, if you were to work in the field that I'm promoting. Creativity is needed everywhere. It's very good for solving problems and challenges. And yeah, and this is why I wrote also experience in particular field or wanting to learn fast. So here comes in, like, you don't have to be a professional. And yes, I was a experienced journalist, but you don't have to be one. You just have to know where you want to be, who you want to be, what sort of skill set you offer. So if you decide, I actually want to be a social media manager, I would hire you with no previous experience, but you have to show me something. So it means that you get on Reddit, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, create community page, create your own page, start making something, because what's not gonna happen, you can't just say, I'm great, hire me, without any proof. That just doesn't work. So yeah, and the last thing, but not least, very good language skills, and I would say like English C1. I don't know if that level is actually enough, but this is like the bare minimum, because in esports, everything mostly is global. Unless, of course, you want to work for a Russian team, then you need to know Russian. But if you want to think big, to be big, then English is a bare minimum. And do Lithuanians have a chance? I mean, I'm the walking, breathing experience that yes. I also added a photo with Aurimas Kvakšys. He's a guy from Lithuania who made it to 2 CSGO majors. And I mean, it might seem small because they didn't win it, but I think it's a perfect example. And I mean, we spoke to him. He's a very nice guy, and I asked him actually, like, why don't you come with me or just by yourself to tell your success story? And he's like, but what can I say? I was like, how did you do it? And he's like, well, very simple, just a lot of hard work. So it's the same in everything. It's whether you're a journalist, whether you're, well, maybe not politician, but if you're a doctor, like chemistry professor, biotechnician, engineer, you have to be good. You have to offer something. No one, like, I mean, there are stories, but I don't think good things just happen to people with no effort. So, yeah, I would like to show you a couple of examples of videos that we made. So they are a little bit different. This first one, I don't know if you have seen it. To be brief, I had this crazy idea. We needed to present new roster, new team for our League of Legends squad. And this team actually made World Semifinals this year in Korea. And we needed to present a roster just before, I think we were filming it between Christmas and New Year. And I needed some sort of idea because you can't just put 5 guys, shoot them, because everyone's going to be like, nah. And like our CEO really thinks content should be great. So, and then I had this vision. I was like, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Little Prince. It's like, I like that book. And I was like, players gonna be like planets, and Perk's gonna be the prince, because he doesn't have, I mean, this is poetic, and now it sounds a little bit ironic, but that was the base idea, where we had the players as, you know, some sort of objects, which he had to approach. And, well, see what happened out of it. I mean, yeah.
The smiles, the elation, the first ever 3-0 in EU LCS history. Kings of Europe, G2 Esports!
Thank you. A lot of hard work, long nights. We were in Atlanta with the videographer, our videographer, Charles, who shot the video that's all shot mainly with the green screen. We were together at CSGO Major in Atlanta. working European time and US time zone to get it done in time for the season. So like right now, we're super proud of it, of course. Back then, it was like, oh my God, such a hell. Yeah, but I'm super happy you liked it. As you see, it went quite far from the idea of Little Prince in the beginning, but you have to have one. Who knows which TV series I was also inspired by? No, guys, 11, code. Stranger Things. So if you remember the first shot, where it's all pitch black, I mean, we don't have a perfect light here, but it's also the same shot where she gets into the back of the mind, like this, the underworld. So yeah, so there's a little bit of influences here and there. Another example I want to show you, very short one, something that we're proud of. We worked together with the Formula One driver, Fernando Alonso. So I traveled to Abu Dhabi and Dubai to meet him. But this video happened before that because we needed to work with a pre-recorded material. And I was talking to his manager, and they were over in Brazil, and I was like, I need material of Fernando because how do we otherwise create anything? And funnily enough, I researched out that he has a samurai tattoo on his back. And I was like, oh my God, G2 logo is a samurai mask. This all fits perfectly, like puzzle is complete. I mean, it's just that I had to tell Fernando Alonso, could you please undress and film your back for a little? So, I mean, that happened. Please run the video.
Samurai are ready to join their powers. We are hungry for success and ready for victories. Please welcome F8 Racing G2.
And I was like, yay, Fernando got naked for me. Can tell like everyone. Yeah, so again, here work was a little bit different. We also needed an idea, but we needed to request something which was doable and viable in a short amount of time. I'm running over time, so I'm going to skip the next one and just show you, just mention it, let's say so. Oh. Wait a second. By the way, I'm in this video, like, actress, so check it out on our YouTube. But we presented this September a game called Samurai Arena. It's just like a simple web browser game, but we wanted to somehow commemorate our history in European League of Legends. So we integrated our team history as a story into the game. And it's actually funny because the designer who worked on this game, the lead designer, was also at this conference and was a speaker here. So I was like, oh, hi. That's nice. So the content is in different shapes and forms. So it can be a game, it can be an ad, it can be a teaser, trailer, can be something else. It also can be, don't run the video, I'm over time. But it also can be something like this. We had like our CSGO team is not performing very well. So when we went to DreamHack Marseille, I also always want to create something actually funny or memorable. So I was like, guys, could you just go with me to the beach? And, you know, I want to shoot a Baywatch version with you. They were like, huh? In the end, turned out to be quite a funny video that people liked. And yeah, so if you're curious for more, we are working like crazy. So there's like 150, 200 videos on G2 Esports YouTube channel. Yeah, thumbnails are beautiful because we have definitely best graphic designers in the industry, or at least that's my opinion. And yeah, so check out for more. And for now, if there's any questions, feel free. Sure, go ahead. We have a mic man and the mic.
Hey. Hello, you can hear me. First off, I want to appreciate that you came here and you are sharing your experience of everything. I wanted to ask something really kind of off topic. In the thumbnail of the first example, we saw a 5-man roster with Jankos and nobody by his side. But in the video, there's always a substitute player. So how come do you, with the idea that the substitute player will be announced in the video? Because, for example, for Fnatic, there's always Soaz and Vip on the top lane, and we always see them because they're a 6-man roster officially. And for G2, I don't know if they're ever substituting their players on stage. So how do you come up with the idea or the decision that the substitute player will be announced in the video? Because in the thumbnail, they were a 5-man roster, but in the video they're 6.
I think it's a great question because like those poor substitute players always get forgotten. But I don't think that they actually get forgotten for no reason. Because I don't want to say anything bad about Sakura. He's a Croatian, very good player. However, he barely gets to play on stage. Due to Riot rules, teams have to have certain substitutes, but some of them never actively play or would play in case of, I don't know, emergency. So if it's a person who actively does not participate and doesn't train in the same house, I probably would not put him in the video. If he would be a person who actually potentially will go on stage, we would definitely put him in. More? Anyone?
Anybody else?
Anyone?
Sorry?
Hello. I don't know if this question is on topic, but is it hard like to get on G2 esports team?
You mean on the professional team?
Yeah.
Which game?
Like League of Legends, for example.
League of Legends?
Yeah.
I mean, how good you are?
I'm a good jungler.
Challenger or no?
Kinda. I get like a lot of reconnects or lost LP. So.
I mean, there's like multiple. Again, I'm not a person who takes candidates for those.
No, I'm not challenger. I'm not challenger.
No, but at the same time, it's not impossible. Like we had Toaster. So he's a guy who is in UK. Was playing with Origin, I think. There was. What was the guy playing on Rocket? He was as a substitute. I mean, Lithuanian players make it there. If you quality material, just go for it.
Yeah, I'm trying, but yeah.
Have you ever played in a team?
Like there is Clash in League of Legends, so we have a team kinda, and we're trying like on challenger mode, but not like every country is supporting that side. So.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of like technicalities, but I think. Everything is possible again, and it doesn't really matter. Like we have people from all over. So if you're gonna get there and gonna get noticed, it's most important to be in Challenger and to play with actual professional players, because the way it works is like a word of mouth. If someone's gonna, let's say, if Reckless is gonna say, oh, actually this guy keeps appearing in my games as he's doing really good, as I have a hard time laning against him, probably people will be interested and say, oh, he might be good. So this is how Sven. So Sven was found exactly like this, and Reckless recommended him. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. One more.
Last one here in the center. Oh. Last question.
Okay, so I'd like to ask, since EU franchising is coming, and you'll most likely get in, right? Of course, it's not official, but I was wondering about the academy teams. Since I'm not sure if you already began the recruitment process, but how does it look? What's the requirements in order to, since we touched the topic of, let's say, getting into a team or whatever, what is the recruitment process? I'm not sure if you're fully aware, but do you know how these work? Because I'm actually really interested in applying if it's possible. I mean, you know,
sure.
Having our chances.
The thing is that, so because this especially is on camera, so I cannot comment on the EU LCS franchising whatsoever. However, academy teams are becoming a thing in general. So there is a possibility that our team, among others, will be seeking for. But I mean, for League of Legends, I can't really say. But we're launching one big project on November 6th, where we'll be looking for some type of talent, which of course I can't share yet. But stay tuned if you want a career like more in gaming than content, then you should check it out. And just because we're running out of time, I would like to give a small memory present for the bravest guy for the first question. Oh. So thank you everyone and have a great day.